Okay, I have a pitch for Scream 8, the next Scream coming up, okay? Okay, the movie opens with a classic scene of the Ghostface killer killing somebody in a cold open, preferably a very big celebrity, maybe even a legacy character. Then cut to credits. Now Sydney's in hiding again from the result of what happened in the last movie in Scream 7. And then they contact Sydney and she's like, instead of like it being the Ghostface killer like stalking her, it's like the police and they arrest her. The newly elected DA, he decides to sort of reopen old cases, and part of that is the Woodsboro massacre that had to do with the Ghostface killer. And he realizes that Sidney Prescott has never really been interrogated properly for these murders, which she always seems to be around. And so then when they start to reevaluate her behavior in it, they realize, well, she kind of used excessive force. She baited the killer instead of running away. She profited off of the murders, like the movies and all that stuff. Yeah, she didn't have a hand in it, but she had to do releases. So theoretically, she profited off of all that stuff. She wrote her own book, and then she goes on trial for basically killing all these Ghostface. The prosecutor argues that, like, there's a pattern here. You said self-defense 14 times, 13 times, and it always has to do with her. Also, like, a lot of the plots in other Screams are that they're going to kill everyone and pin it on Sydney. So, maybe Sydney, in the DA's mind, pulled a reverse double cross and killed other people and said that she was the victim the whole time, but actually she was Ghostface the whole time. So there's throws some confusion in there as well. Okay, so then like Gail has to testify against her. So this would be good. Like Gail like gets up there and is like, yeah, well, like I guess, like she kind of gets caught. So meanwhile, there's a documentarian making a documentary about this, and they're following Sydney and they're asking her questions, and sometimes they're on her side and sometimes they're helping her and sometimes they're backstabbing her. So she gets like an ankle monitor put on, and so she can't leave. So then of course Ghostface attacks her, doesn't get her, but also jurors start ending up dead, which makes Sydney look bad because she's out free. So then she gets put in jail and she gets attacked by Ghostface again. She keeps getting put in a smaller cage. So now it's like, well, who's doing the killing? She's got to figure it out, but she's got to do it from jail. But also maybe she has Gail, but she's not sure Gail double cross her again. So it could be the judge, it could be the bailiff, it could be the DA, it could be the documentarian. Jurors are getting killed. The bailiff gets killed. Oh yeah, the DA gets killed. No, the DA can't get killed because you've got to think it's the DA. But the whole point of Ghostface is trying to make it seem like she's guilty. One of the jurors is working with the documentarian, and they're the Ghostface, and it all comes out in court. Documentarian does it because he needs or she needs the documentary to end with Sydney getting convicted so that their movie is complete, which has nothing to do with the stab movies, but still in the world of movie makers like needing to complete their film. And then this one's like a true crime documentary with a killer's edge or whatever. The jurors doing it because they think Sydney is guilty, is always been the Ghostface killer, and one of their family members, like a cousin or something, was a victim of the Ghostface killer, and they think that Sydney is actually responsible. So they're killing people who would vote for Sydney to be innocent. And then there's a fight in court with like lots of people. And so at the end, Sydney kills the documentarian or the juror, whoever is the last one standing, in front of the cameras, proving that she did it in self-defense. Thus, then the jurors decide, okay, yeah, she's not guilty because we have video evidence of her literally trying to defuse the situation and then becoming like a killer out of necessity, basically. And she's not guilty, but then she's still stuck again with the trauma of like going through a large court case and all this stuff, and the media attention again, and that's kind of like a new sort of set of traumatic things that Sydney has to live with, but she's still alive. But she's never gotten out like totally unscathed. But I think it'd be kind of fun and interesting and weird in a totally different direction. You can bring the meta shit into it. Yeah, it's kind of like it's also kind of about like our fascination with true crime, and sort of this like exploitative idea of justice. And then, that allows the movie to be back in Woodsboro. The Trial of Sydney, I think, is probably like a standalone more than anything. But it's a good buffer for them to figure out what the hell they want to do with the series going forward. And I think that it also leaves Scream kind of wide open for a new idea. And this is a good way to sort of change the feeling of Scream and also have cooler new locations like courtroom, kind of cannon fodder, enough cannon fodder to not know who's going to get it.